Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode from Anything About Everything. Today, I have Shaheem Ross, better known as Shabba. He's brother from another mother.
That's
We have
right.
worked together on a lot of projects. I have known him since 2017, and
Hmm.
he's a man of many talents: photographer, videographer, amazing bartender in Del Rey.
Yeah.
Like a social butterfly. Everybody knows him in Del Rey, and I had an opportunity to work with him on a lot of projects. Also works on a lot of social causes most of the time. Works for like a lot of people, a lot of talented people. Does majority of the photo shoots in Miami swimwear, right? Swim week.
Yeah.
You did that,
Yep. Absolutely.
and you've done. Did you? You were also planning to do one in Paris. Did that happen or not yet?
Yeah. I got to do the Paris one as well.
So yeah, I'm like, I've seen him from close, and where he is right now, it's like amazing. I'm proud to even, have him on the podcast and say I know Shaba personally. Welcome, Shaba. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, man. That was a beautiful introduction. I appreciate you so much, man. As you guys know, this is my right hand right here. I was literally just having a conversation with somebody from Hollywood, one of our producers that we have in Hollywood, and I was literally just telling them that, well, Ragu is ready to come out to Hollywood the next time I go out. So it's like it's gonna be such a perfect meetup for those guys out there as well. So thank you for having me first and foremost. I'm honored to be on the show. Thank you guys for paying attention and tuning into the show. Thank you guys for being a part of the journey, and thank you guys as well for just listening to what we have to say, and just taking whatever you can from the information that's given.
My first question to you is, Shaba, like, what got you into photography? Like, I've seen your photographs, and it's like mind blowing. And I don't think you went to any college. Correct me if I'm wrong. And everything is self taught. Like, how did you get into it?
Everything is self-taught. Oddly enough, I told this story actually like yesterday as well because I was just talking about photography and stuff like that. Oddly enough, I started photography because I was actually, funny enough, I was jealous of another person that had the photography equipment. I met up with a buddy, a couple creative friends of mine when I moved down to South Florida. This wasn't something that I wanted to do in the beginning, but I ended up doing it once I moved to South Florida. As Ragu previously told you, I was bartending. So I was doing more of just bartending, social butterfly, trying to find my wits and doing different things. At the time, I was still doing, like funny videos here and there. So, the camera was always somewhere in the realm. It just didn't grab me as of yet. But what I did do was I had a buddy of mine that I would, fairly, he's still a great friend of mine, but we would end up shooting, small little stories, little videos, little photos, and it just kind of just intrigued me every time. And it got to a point. I even wrote the date down. I have the date written on when I got fed up. I got super fed up because I had a million ideas coming. And at the time, they would be like, "Ah, man, well, we don't have time to do that." And I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, this is like a fucking, at the time, we all think our ideas are the greatest. So I was like, oh man, this is like one of the greatest fucking ideas in the world, bro. Like, what do you mean you can't let me borrow the camera? So it got to a point where, I wouldn't have access to the camera. So that really pushed me into, okay, well, I need to go get my own. So whenever I need to do it, I don't have to wait for anyone and I don't have to sit around and try to wait for anybody, basically. So it really started off when COVID happened. That's before that. Like I said, I was doing projects. I borrowed I bought a camera from a really good friend of mine, which was like an old school, like Sony A77, like old school. And I was just started shooting. I was shooting whatever I could. I shot people, I shot birds, I shot trees, buildings, everything that you could think of. And I just was intrigued with it. And the camera itself, it did what it needed to do in the sense of, I guess, giving me a soft entry into photography. And after 2020 is when, COVID happened and I was actually furloughed from my bartending job. So I ended up getting stopped from the job and after the job stopped, I was like, all right, so I mean, like, what are we gonna do? We're just gonna sit down and wait for for it to come back, or are we gonna get up and try something new? So, oddly enough, we ended up getting a stimulus check. That stimulus check that everybody ended up getting. I took mines, and that was like my first investment in when I bought a Sony A7 III. Still my camera to this day. I haven't switched it out, but it was the camera when I did my research. It allowed me to do both video and photo, because at the time I was way more into writing skits, and I was way more into making videos and music videos, and I wanted to do stories and all of these things. Now I've kind of landed in the photography lane, just because when you get into creativity, you never know where you're going to really land. You just have to just keep going and keep going and keep going until you get to the position that you really want. So whether or not you're doing video editing, or making graphic designs, or if you're just taking photos of dogs, if you're taking photos of real estate, and you plan to go somewhere as far as like making movies or writing or directing or staging, all of those things, as long as you're within that parallel creative universe, you'll get there. But all of those things that I've learned, I think I'm rambling a little bit, I'll get back to you, Ragu, but I've learned all of those things play a major part in your completion as a creative, because all of the little things that I've learned, from Photoshop to using Premiere Pro to doing Canva graphics and all of those things, now I'm able to just tap into it and just put it all together when I do my photography or videography, or if I'm writing an ad or a commercial for something now. So, in a nutshell, it started by being jealous of somebody not giving me their camera equipment. So I said, you know what? I'm gonna go get my own stuff. I'm gonna get my own stuff, and I'm gonna start doing my own stories and start doing my thing. So, I think the biggest lesson from this little ramble I went on is, don't wait for anybody to do what you want to do. Just get up and get it done.
That's one thing that I've always, loved about you, and I've always learned from you and gotten inspired from you, because we have worked on a lot of projects. And I mean, I'm not a negative person. I try to see like more of being more realistic, and I'm not saying you're not realistic, but when we come up with a script or something, and I'm like, how do we do this? You're like, goo, I'm there. I'll figure it out. Don't worry. And you're like, we're talking about like, two people shooting each other, and how I'm thinking, how are we going to shoot this? You're like, I'll figure it out. Like, yeah, that I feel like you're that go getter, and you don't say like, I cannot do this. You're like, I don't know how to do this, but I'll make it happen. That's one big learning that I've always learned from you, and I've always tried to be like you when it comes to like, movies or writing or even going and achieving something, right?
Absolutely.
That kind of like, also one more thing that I forgot to mention to the audience is, you have a very interesting life in terms of like profession and passions and what you do. One of the things that you told me very well on the phone, how you stumbled upon an opportunity to make some money being a paparazzi.
Correct.
And I, I want to go, if you don't mind, can I go a little more deeper into that? Like, I want to know
Yeah,
more about that. Yeah. So
absolutely, absolutely.
how did you get into, like, how did that opportunity fall into your lap, like, and then what was the lifestyle of a paparazzi living in Hollywood and getting photos, like, how did that work? Like, can you give me a rundown of everything?
Okay, so to start it off, it like I said, you always end up landing and doing things that will end up putting you in different positions, just within the lane of what you're doing. So I was doing, and it was actually last year. So I've only been a paparazzi for July would make a year now, but I was doing a Miami Swim Week, as he mentioned before. I was doing Miami Swim Week, and I try to keep it quick and simple, but it's a really good story. I was doing Miami Swim Week, and I was getting paid $200 per day or something in those sorts to shoot the swim week and send it off to a company so they could post it and make more money than me. Um, you know, so I was doing that, and I was, at that moment, you're satisfied, you're content with what you're doing. And I think maybe 1 or 2 days into the show, somebody came to the set. So there's a pit, there's a media pit when you're watching the runway. They're coming straight to you. There's a media pit, and the best photographers or the house photographers normally get right in front, And then as you come, they say, okay, well, you got here time, so we'll put you here. We got here on this time, so we'll put you here. So nevertheless, the better, house photographers, Getty Images will normally get like the front seats. So as I'm shooting, somebody walks up and he comes super late. He's rushing in super late, moving things out the way. I was like, yo, where's this guy going? And he pulls up and he goes, I need that spot right there. I need that spot down there, because he's behind me, and he's like, I need that spot right there. And he's like, hey, how much do I have to pay to get that spot? And I was like, wait, who is this? Who is, like, who is this guy? Who is this guy coming in here thinking he's some hot shot, that he's about to get the best shot and move everybody out the way? So he ends up speaking to me. He's like, "Oh yeah, man, I'll give $2,000 to whoever I could get the spot to." So I was like, $2,000. I was like, "Wait, hold up. You can have my spot for $2,000. I'm only making $200." So long story short, me and him, we got to be an acquaintance. Um, we got to we he asked me to shoot. Well, I'll tell you the real story, because I actually was gonna skim after this part, but. Uh, he wanted me to shoot the video, and at the time I didn't think that I was good enough to shoot the video.
Video
So
of the
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 video
the
of the
event.
swim
Okay.
of the event. So at that moment I told myself in my head, hey, this is a great relationship to have, because this person says he's from LA, he's ready to drop $2,000 on, just some regular thing. I'm already making 200. So the math just made sense that this relationship would be a more enriching relationship. So what I wanted to do was put somebody in position, a friend of mine who I thought would do the job very well. So I said, man, you know what? I actually got this guy. He's right up the street. I could call him. He could come and shoot it for you. And I promise this guy's going to get it done. Because at the time, I thought that this guy was better than me at this job. So long story short, I end up getting this guy, and he comes down and he shoots it, and he fucks it all up. He fucks up the whole situation. He shoots the video horrible. He steals the memory card. He doesn't give it to the guy. There's no footage on the memory card. So at this point, I've literally ruined my name. And the guy's like, man, look at your buddy, bro. Look what he did, this and that. And I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. I thought he was going to be the perfect person, because looking at his work, it just seemed like you guys would be so perfect to do it. And then he looked at the work and he agreed. He was like, man, he's perfect for the job. Why didn't he do it correct? Are you guys trying to play me? Or are you guys trying to take money from me and stuff? And I'm like, dude, I have no intentions of taking any money from you or trying to, get a one up on you. I was literally trying to put two and two together so we could help each other, you know, and it kind of backfired on me. But luckily enough, I think this will be a lesson. We could also pinpoint this in in the video here. Your blessings will always come back to you if they belong to you. I like to say that your blessings will always come back to you if they belong to you, and especially if you're a giving person like I am. So I gave the opportunity away because I thought that this person could benefit just as well as this person and myself. So all of us benefiting, and then somehow it turned around that it kind of threw a little dirt on my name, but like I said, the blessing is always going to be a good blessing. So the guy reaches back out to me in July and he says, "Hey man, look, I know, we didn't work out the last time, and I would love for you to shoot the video for me this time in July." And I said, "Know what? I'm going to drop everything I'm doing. I'm going to shoot the video." So I end up shooting the video. I send it out to him, and he's like, "Man, this is perfect. This is amazing, bro. Like, you killed it, man. Why didn't you shoot it for me the first time?" And I told him, I was like, if I'm being honest with you, man, I didn't think that I would do a great job. I wanted to put the best person in position to do the job, not knowing that I actually was the best person at the time. So just as creatives, you also want to tell yourself, like, you're going to be your worst nightmare. You're going to doubt yourself more than anybody else. And even when he gave me the opportunity, so he worked in Hollywood and he does paparazzi, and he's like, hey, would you like to jump into some paparazzi work? It'll make some good money. You could start traveling. You could start doing this. I got a job for you that you could do right now, and it'll probably make you 3 grand. And I was like, oh, perfect. Let's do it. And it kind of really, I kind of felt fearless after shooting the video, because it was like, okay, the video's done, and I thought I couldn't do it. So now he gives me another opportunity of doing paparazzi. I've never done it in my life. I've never heard of it. I never thought that I would be doing it. And then I said, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just see what happens. So that's kind of how it got started. And then ever since, I've just been traveling the world. I've shot photos of Kanye West in Paris. I've been to Hawaii for the swim week because of him. So I've traveled because of the swim week, just working with the buddy of mine. I've been to New York. I've been to Louisiana. I've been to Atlanta. I've been to Hollywood, shooting all stars across the board. Zendaya, Steven Spielberg, all kind of people. Man, it's just kind of opened up the doors for me to, just find photography in a different light. And like I said, I never thought that I'd be doing the paparazzi style of it, but it was very lucrative and it gave a little bit of free financial freedom in that lane, and that's kind of really where it started at. I hope I answered your question well.
You did. You answered it perfect. So in paparazzi world, I've heard like, so first question is like, who gives you these things? Like, do you just like go around every day looking for celebrities, or like is it someone will tell you, okay, I want a photo of like Kanye West, or I want a photo of Zendaya, and they'll tell you a spot. Like, how does that work?
So it kind of it differentiates. It's a couple different ways to do the paparazzi. So there's a set of paparazzi guys that will go to different events. So they'll find the events. They'll go on like the Hollywood Reporter, and Zendaya has a premiere that's going to be happening in Malibu or whatever theater. She'll be there. So you'll get a couple guys, they run out and they'll go, they get that. The information is publicly known. Then there's also, the news outlets. So for instance, let's say like right now, the Drake and Kendrick Lamar beef that's going on, right? And
Hmm.
it's in the tabloids here and there, da da da. So somebody can say, okay, well, you know what? This is something that's hot right now. They're going to need a photo of it. So let's go get the photo of what's happening at the moment. So that person can either a search through their social media and find where these people are at, because 9 times out of 10 a lot of people post on social media and you're able to go get that stuff. Or b, sometimes these people, they've been in the game so long that they have tippers at every different hotel, every little restaurant that goes on. So they'll get a phone call. Hey man, Drake just walked in. So you'll end up tipping the guy out. You'll tip the valet guy, give him a quick 100 or $200. He'll let you know, hey, Drake just walked in. You got about 15, 20 minutes to get here, get your shots of him. And that's kind of how that works. Then you have a third outlet. So being able to find celebrity residents. That's when you have relationships with a real estate agent that's in California, Florida, and they're able to look up the MLS listing. And what they'll do is say, "Hey, man, I could give you all of the residents, all the addresses for these residents, if you pay me 500 a month." So you're
Mm.
able to do that, and those are basically like the three different ways to get the information as a paparazzi. So you've got the people that just go to the events, you got the people that have intel from the tippers from the different restaurants, and then you also have guys that have real estate real estate contacts that will be able to do it. And then you also do have, I guess I missed one more. There's also a lot of celebrities that want paparazzi. So they'll have their PR team reach out to a paparazzi or that's been working with them so they can basically go ahead and get photos done and basically have somebody waiting there and they'll pay them off, you know, for the photos.
I've always thought like celebrities like never liked paparazzis. Is that true? Like, are you like when you're trying to take photos? Like, I heard most of my information comes from YouTube or like
Mhm.
some channels. Like, most of them are always angry or like they say like get a life or whatever it is. So, how did you face any of that? Like, is that true? Like, what
Oh
is it?
yeah, I've definitely faced a lot of, I don't take photos or I don't want photos taken of me, and then I've also faced, people ready to take the photo immediately. Can't wait to show the camera what they got. But for for the majority of people, they believe that paparazzi is more of a pest, which is kind of true. Just because with paparazzi, some people, it just depends on who you are. Some people are real nasty about it. Some people really have no morals and no values and stuff like that. And it's kind of just a hit or miss basis. So my moral is, if you're in the public eye and you're not in the private and stuff like that, I'm gonna take a photo of you because that comes with the job. As when
Got
you
it.
sign up as a public figure, anything that you do in public could be seen. I don't care who it is. I'd rather it be me so I can get a check, you know. So that's kind of how I do it. And there's also another part of the paparazzi that people have a misconception about, is that um, without the paparazzi and without the media on you, you start to dim your light. So nobody cares about you anymore. So if there's not people taking photos of you and you're not in the media, then as a star or a public figure, you start to lack luster, and then you kind of get brushed into the unknown stars or the leftover stars. So oddly enough, Kim Kardashian is one of the best celebrities there is because she understands media. So everything
Mm,
that she does, that's why she's been in it so long. The Kardashians understand what the media does. You have to use it as a tool instead of using it feeling like it's going against you. Again, all publicity is good publicity. You know, but with Kim Kardashian, she makes sure that the media is going to see her no matter what, so she can be in the limelight. So that's why she steps out looking amazing. That's why she'll go do some thing. Like same thing with Kanye. Kanye will do, his wife is parading around half naked. You know why? Because now he's in the media every day. There's not
mm,
one day that TMZ is not putting Kanye out there. Every day for the last, since he's been with the girl that he's been with, they've been in the media every single day because he understands how to manipulate the media. He knows what they want. He knows what's going to get them talking. Same thing with us. Like when we're doing a film, we know exactly what they want to hear. We know what they want to see. What's going to make them raise the eye. What's going to bring emotions out of this audience. So it's really just like a play. And Kim and Kanye do it best, is what I would say.
got it. And like when you get projects, do you get projects like from the agents or from the corporate company itself? Like how does that work? Or there's a step-by-step process even there.
So majority of the time, it's you're gonna be freelance. So a lot of the stuff are freelance unless you work specifically for like TMZ and stuff like that. They may give you like a tip and say, "Hey, Timothy Chalamet is going to be at NBC today. Make sure you go try to get an interview of him." But for the majority of the time, it's all going to be freelance work that you're doing. It's going to be freelance. You're going to have to do your own information. You really become a private detective, just depending on how you do it. Because the more exclusive the video or the photo is that you get, the more pay you get. So the people that the paparazzi that are working at the events and stuff like that, you don't get paid that well. You get like $50 per photo. I did my first big one was Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Keegan, and that one went for about 20 grand. It took me about a week to sit on it. Yeah, it took me a week,
20
20
grand?
grand, 20 grand,
Wow.
20
Wow.
grand off of the photos because, again, like I said, the media wants certain things. So they were a new couple. They'd never been photographed together. They never had any romance, and it was the first time that they were seen. Seen together, holding hands. Just a A-list couple coming together. And that one's actually in People magazine. So I ended up getting a magazine, one of my photos published in People magazine, which is one of my greatest accomplishment to this day because I actually wrote it down that I would be doing something like this. And when you write things down, it becomes a spell. So anybody out there that's listening, make sure you write your stuff down so you can see it and manifest it. Because the more you write it down, the better it'll come to life.
Yeah, I mean, I've just taken a small segue away from photography, but whenever we have worked, I've spent a lot of time with you at your house. I've always seen you having like a big dry erase border, and you always had like step by step plan. It could be as detailed as call my family every day,
Correct.
um thank God every day, drink like
Yes.
this much every day. It was very detailed, and every time I came there, I saw something new, something up the list, something below the list. Like, is it just because like you're more of a visual person and you believe that seeing that makes everything come to reality?
Correct. Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. When you see it, and then also you see it so you don't forget it.
Mm.
Because a lot of times we go through life and we're doing this, and you can get caught up doing so many different things. You got a nail in your car, you got hit, somebody's sick, or the girl, the lady you're trying to talk to, she's talking to somebody else, and then you forget all the things that you were focused on, and then it kind of, you stir away from it. So having it written down, was one of my biggest things. Is I wrote it on a whiteboard, and like Ragu said, it could have been as small as pray more, talk to family more, which is really actually on the board. So those aren't things that he's just making. I literally have these on the board.
I saw
And
that on
then
your bird. Yeah, I remember
right.
seeing that on your bird.
Yeah, be happier, was another one. Gain more real estate, and again, these things are just to look at so your brain can say, okay, well, this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because sometimes you can get a little cluster brain, and it won't sit with you. But if you're seeing it every day and you're looking at it and you're focused on it, you can't really much focus. I think this is another part that I have to segment. Don't focus on when things are supposed to happen. Just focus on doing certain things within that list. Because just like I think I wrote on that board maybe like 3 years ago to get published. And it took me about 3 years to this date to get published. So it didn't matter the timeline that it happened, it still happened, you know. And another part that I would like to say is dream bigger, dream bigger. As soon as that happened, and I seen that I was able to, as soon as I see my whiteboard and I saw it to get published, and I actually got published, I got back to the board and I wrote, make $100 million. Because why not? Let's put that up there too. So hopefully we'll fall on that, or we'll fall higher, but we'll fall somewhere in between. But at that point, just the manifestation of it will happen. you know
Yeah, that's amazing. Like, recently I read a quote, something similar. It said, if you're not dreaming big, if your dreams doesn't scare you, then you're not dreaming big enough.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely, and
So,
that's and a part of that, to piggyback off of what you said. A lot of people will make sure that you dream small, so you have to be very, very careful who you tell your dreams to and who you try to push to dream higher. Because sometimes they'll come back and be like, "Ah, well, I don't think that you could be a Hollywood director, or I don't think that you could do this," or and then they kind of just portray, they put on their negativity onto your whole positives. Like, how do you know what I can do? So try not to share too much with people that don't have the same ambition and purpose and the same kind of dreams. If they're not dreaming, their biggest dream is to have a white picket fence and a dog and eat Starbucks every day. And, like, you can't tell them that you want to be a Hollywood producer and travel the world and see all the 70 states by the time you're 21. Like, they won't even understand that. They were like, see all the states. I want to try all the drinks at Starbucks. Like, wait, what? We have two different realities going on here. Two different realities.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I feel like everybody has their own visions, everybody has their own dreams, like, everybody has their own path to walk. It's just like you have to figure out what you want, and it's like you are the average of five people who you hang out more with. So just make sure your circle is right, right? Like I've always believed in that. Like I always try to like hang out with the people who have my mindset and more, and someone who motivates me more. Like so that's how I plan out, my social circle.
Right, absolutely. And you should always, I think there was something around the lines where you should have friends that are where you want to be, friends that are right where you're at, and then friends that are underneath just a little bit so you can teach them. So you're able to learn, um, I guess, practice and then teach at the same time. So you're able to
Wow.
do all three, and then you'll just keep cycling, and all you'll do is get better. And like you said, if you're your five best friends that you hang around. So if you hang around five bodybuilders, 9 times out of 10, you'll probably be the six. If you if you hang around seven smokers, you'll probably be the eighth smoker. So you kind of got to watch definitely be the company you keep. Everything that your mom said is true. Just put that out. Like a lot of people like to be like, man, my parents. No, everything they said as you get older, you understand there was some light to what they were saying, and it's very true about what they're saying. Because my family always used to say, "You are the company you keep," and I was like, "No, I'm nothing like them." I don't. And then now it just makes sense as you get older. Because again, if you're in the streets and it's 8 clowns dressed up, and you just happen to be with them, you don't have to be dressed up as well, but they'll think you're a clown as well. They'll ask you, "Are you a clown?" Just because you're around 8 other clowns and you just walked into a bar. Did you leave your costume? So just kind of like off of that right there. Kind of got to watch who you with.
Exactly, exactly. You've also you've done a lot of like videos for social cause. Like I've acted in a couple of years. Like what? So few of them are like Black Lives Matters. You did a whole documentary about it. You put it out. And then um um I still remember this one of our Christmas. Like you had me come out, buy a bunch of food, and we went out distributing on a Christmas morning. So
Hmm.
you're a
Correct.
very much giving to the society person. It's and back then, like I had a job, yes, but that was a time where like you are just furloughed from your job, and it's not that you had money, right? You
Correct.
always you always felt giving back to the society was something very very important without any expectations. So what got you into that mindset? Were you always like this, or was that some event that triggered in your life that you said this is how I have to live my life?
I think it was, being born into. I'm the oldest of five, so I've always been like a giving person, and I've always been, I try. The older I get, I try to pride myself on being the most unselfish person in the room. And with that being said, the only reason I do that is because I know by doing the right thing and um, giving more that I'll get more regardless. So once I have that mindset, I don't care what it is. If I'm able to give more, I'm always going to get more in the back end because I believe in God, and I believe He's watching everything that you do. Whether you believe that He's watching everything that you do, or you think He's seeing only some of the things or half of the things, or maybe He's sleeping now, so He probably didn't see what I did. He sees everything, and He'll take an account. And just like I said, there was a prime examples in your life that let you know to keep giving, which was the one that I just gave you guys earlier when I gave the opportunity to a buddy of mine so he could, just make some money, and it didn't work out. It backfired on me. And at that time, it could trigger you to say, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't give anymore." But then I was blessed with another opportunity, and it was all for me, and there was nobody that could take it from me, and I didn't have to give anything, or I didn't have to try to get anything from anybody. It was just an opportunity that was handed to me from God to be able to do exactly what I said. Like I told you on the board, it was to travel more. So now He granted me the gift of travel. I wrote it down, and then it was able to be given to me just off of trying to give one opportunity to another person. And I try to do this with everything, as a photographer, videographer. Like you said, we go through rough patches, ups and downs, and certain things I'll have, just like recently I had somebody reach out to me and they wanted to do a prom video. And I don't really like prom videos. I've kind of stepped away from doing a little bit more video stuff unless it's on a bigger end. So what I did was I gave it away to a fellow photographer who I thought was great for the job. So this time it worked out in my favor. He did it, and it worked out perfectly. The girl loved it. The prom was amazing. And funny enough, my girl was like, why didn't you take it? Why didn't you get it? I know, you're making money, but we could make some more money, and I was like, I'm not worried about it. I'm gonna pass this off because this isn't my lane. It's not my favorite thing to do. And I could also help somebody else. And within me even speaking to her, saying that, somebody called me up and I got another booking right then and there, which was bigger and more in my lane. So I just feel like everything is being seen. So, it's more of just giving because you'll get it on the back end. Like it sounds crazy. It sounds so silly. But the more you give on the front end, the more you'll get on the back end.
I mean, it's amazingly well said. Also, like I also feel, just to add on to that, it's also like knowing who you are and knowing what you love, and just saying, okay, like in the in I've read this book 3 times, Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, where he wanted to turn himself into just not a rom-com guy, but something where the acting challenged him, where he started doing like Lincoln Lawyer or Dallas Buyers, right? So he started, like in the book, he really says, say no by saying yes to yourself. So it's like knowing who you are, knowing what you want. Like it's a big thing, right? By saying no, it's not that you're giving up opportunity, but you're mostly believing in yourself and trusting God and saying that I think time is on my side and something is going to come back to me, which is more aligned to me, which
With my
challenges me.
purpose.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. Because
Um,
you can't be doing a whole bunch of things, and again, like I said, you got to stay on track with what you're looking to do. If once you're off track, the older you get, the more time you notice that you don't have that much time. So, I'm happy that I got started and I figured out, finding out what my purpose was and what lane I kind of want. Because again, you sometimes you never even know, you know what you think your purpose is, but then God will have a different purpose for you. But as long as you have something that's luring you in a direction and you feel passionate about it and you feel like you're doing good, it's going to lead you to wherever it is that He's going to have your final destination. Because I have this joke where I tell people all the time, I'm going to be, a director for now and this and that, but by the time I turn 60, I'll probably be a pastor, and that might be my real purpose, is to speak to people, and make, like that might be the whole reason I did all of this. So, yeah, 100% say no to the things that you don't want to do. And don't be afraid to say no. I love saying no. I love telling people no. Like there's so many things that could drain you and distract you from this, that, and the third. And I want to just jump into this. I actually stopped. I've been sober for over like a year now with alcohol, and that was something that was big for me, just because um, I was a bartender. So as a bartender, you get more free drinks than blonde girls. You get free drinks here and there. I go out and that, man, Shabba, you need something to drink, man. I got you, man. So it was hard for me to say no. And again, it's social. It's a social thing, because everybody else is doing it. So it's even harder to say no. But since then, me saying no to all those alcohols actually opened up so many doors for me to go and do different things and stay focused while I'm doing these things, where I'm not altered by anything. Of course, yes, you could have fun and, it maybe make you feel like you could work better, but sometimes you're just super focused on what you're doing that you don't even like. I'm drunk off of success. Like I'm drunk off of success. I'm not even drunk off of, all these things that's happening in the social stuff. Like I'm here because of success. So saying no was very, very big for me. Not saying that I'll ever not drink again, but to regain focus. Sometimes you got to say no to everything. No, no, just no to everything that's not what the plan is. You know, that's really what it is.
was it a difficult process to give up drinking?
It actually was super easy. It was super easy because it was just a mindset thing. Because again, I understood what and why I did it. The reason I did it because it was a social thing. The reason I did it is because I wanted to get away from me. Like I said, you get a nail in the tire. Okay, let me go grab a drink. Oh, well, we didn't make enough money at the bar. We didn't make enough money today. Okay, let's go grab a drink. Damn, I just paid rent. Let me go grab it. Like you find all these different reasons to doing it, and then you find out. You say, okay, well, why was I? Did I have fun while I was doing that? Then you start looking back and you start doing, like look at the receipts. The only reason you did that was because, oh, it was her birthday, so I went out and I got drunk with her. Oh, the only reason I went there is because, you know what, I was feeling bad that day. Like you start to thinking like, why did I even do this? And then again, not only that, you are literally giving money away at that moment. So the more you start to think like, why would I do that? Why would I continuously give money away when I could keep this money, keep my sobriety, or keep my focus? Because again, all the drugs, everything is to help you lose focus. That's all it is. So you're not focused on what it is you got going on, to numb whatever it is that you got going on. It's all to lose focus. So once you tap back in and say, okay, well, I need to focus up, you have to get rid of the things that make you unfocused, whatever it is, whether that's women, whether that's hanging out with too many friends that's not going where you're going, whether that's stop drinking every day, whether that's stop smoking every day. Like those are the things that you have to really, like I said, it has to be a mindset thing where you tell yourself, like, you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, man, what has been holding me back? Because nothing else is holding you back, and alcohol makes you less ambitious. So if those things are all true, why are you not getting rid of the poison? You know what I'm saying? You want this cure, you want to feel good, you want um, to make your family proud. So why not get rid of those things that are not aligned with what you got going on? Of course, like I said, I say it like it's easy. Once you go through doing the back end work, it becomes easy because I did it and I didn't even like, oh, let's take a week and slow down. No, I started January, I think it was like December 9th, I think. So it was right before the beginning of the year. And I just was like, no, let's shut it off. Just shut it off right now. We're gonna stop drinking. I don't care if you come over and you got, man, Shabba, I got free drink. It's okay. I've done it before. I've had my fun. When we accomplish things, then we can celebrate in that sense. And even when we do accomplish things, we don't need to celebrate that way. We can celebrate many different ways. There's so many different things to do. I love celebrating by having a good meal. It has to have nothing with alcohol involved. I love celebrating by, getting a new investment, buying a new camera, something like that, where you're just so focused on what you're doing, those distractions don't even matter.
Got it. Amazingly put across. Um, Going back to the video and photo shoot stuff. So you've done, like I said, you've done photo shoots for portfolio models, like, and then you've done events. You've done a couple short films with me. You've done music video for a few artists in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. You've done real estate videos. You've done commercial shoots for companies in Boca. I was a part of one of the commercial shoots. And you've done few small documentaries for social causes. So if someone is wanting to be a photographer or a videographer, right? You kind of answered in a bit. Just take a camera and start shooting. But knowing what you know, doing what you did, would you ask them to like pick a niche and stick onto that and put all their efforts into that, or just like widespread try everything out and see what sticks onto them? Like, what would be the roadmap that you would recommend for someone who wants to get into this industry and don't want to go into like school or anything? They just want to go dive in and do it. What would be the best way to do it for someone who's starting new?
So I think the best way to start anew would be, first thing is to get your camera. That would
Mm-hmm.
be, it sounds so silly, but it's the hardest thing to do because you'll be like, oh, well, I don't have enough money. I don't have this. I don't have the resources. There's nothing I can shoot. There's nobody, nobody wants my stuff. And I don't know if this is going to work. Get the camera.
Get a personal
Once
camera.
get a personal camera or use the
And
camera you have.
mm-hmm.
Just start. That is the roadmap to getting to what your niche is. And I
Oh,
agree with you, like you said, try everything. You
okay.
don't know what you like until you've tried everything,
Mm-hmm.
and you have time if you go get the camera. Go get
Mm-hmm.
it. Get the camera. Start shooting photos of your friends. So this is how I started. Start shooting photos of your friends. Whatever idea that you have, make it practical where you, like, for me, I live in South Florida. I can shoot palm trees, birds, cars, women. Make it practical to your environment what you can do. Go out, take a photo of the bird. Go out, take a video of the bird. Go to a restaurant, take a video of your plate coming to you. You know, go out, take your girlfriend out, get photos of her while she's, standing there. Start to do these different things, and then you'll slowly start finding what it is you like to do. Because a lot of people, sometimes you could say, oh, I want to niche into this, and then you get there and you notice it's not what you really wanted.
Okay.
And that's the last thing that you want to do. You don't want to niche into something like, oh man, I want to do food photography, I want to do food photography, I want to do food photography. The next thing you know, you understand that there's not that much business in food photography. Then you
Mm.
understand that it's not really that much photos that go on in food photography. You have to do a lot of staging, and there's more people involved, and it becomes a corporate, whole thing that's going on. So I would say definitely just try everything out. Get your camera, try everything out, use your family and friends around you to help build your confidence into being able to speak to different businesses and different brands and stuff like that. And life has become so much easier. If you want, like I guess, a business approach to certain things, as far as being able to reach out to your first client, ChatGPT can do it for you. You can literally type in a little thing on ChatGPT, and he'll make you a formal email reaching out to that person that you want to work with. But if you're passionate about something, follow the passion first. Follow the passion first, and then see where that leads you. Like I said, you're probably going to land in somewhere in the universe. You'll land where you'll be doing different things here and there, but then just continue to push where you want to go. Like, for instance, with me, we landed in the paparazzi world. But what I noticed when I got there, I was like, man, I'm around all these Hollywood stars. So what I needed to do is not forget that I do have my purpose and passion in directing. So while I'm doing these photos of these people, I'm getting the contacts. So when I do my directing, I can reach out to these people and I can get it done. So everything has a purposeful meaning. Like I, the paparazzi thing. Like I said, I'm around all these stars. I see how they move. I see how they walk. If I wanted to, I could even get videos of them and put it out, and however I want to do it. But again, it got me closer to being around the people that I want to be around. Now I'm closer with these directors. Now I'm right. Now I'm touching the Zendaya's assistant, and I'm having a conversation with him. So it's like you'll be able to get to your passion and purpose as long as you're just trotting on that road and taking whatever comes at the moment. I know I did say no to a lot of things, but in the beginning, you have to say yes to a lot of things. You know, Try it out. Try it out. You never know what you like. I met a guy, all he does is take photos of motorcycles, and he loves it. He started out doing weddings and all of this different stuff. Now all he does is photos of bicycles. Bicycles. Like, that's it. That's all he does. So and I want to preach that in photography there's so many different lanes. So just try everything. You never know what you like. So that's what I would say to the first person that's starting up is get your camera, try everything, and just don't be afraid when you hear no. Just keep going.
And I've spoken to a few new um newcomers, like, when I go out and meet people, like, for them, taking photos or trying out something, they say comparatively easy, but for them, where they find difficulty is editing. And how do they overcome that? Like, is there a space that they can go and learn? I know there's a lot of courses that they can do, but what would be the best way that you would recommend, or how did you get into, like, editing everything? Because I saw you, like, for you, clicking a photography might be an hour, but I saw you sitting in front of a laptop for 4 hours editing every single frame of a photo. So
Hmm.
how do they
Yeah.
get to that level? How do they learn that?
Practice. So that part comes with practice. There's a lot of things in this in a craft where you can't skip. So there's a lot of things that could get you far. You could talk and you could have a great conversation piece, and then you take the photos and then they come out crappy. That's because you didn't put in the hours that everybody else put in. You still have to put in that time and practice to get to that level. So don't skip steps. Don't ever skip a step, or don't think that you don't need those steps, because it'll come around when you'll have a project. Just it just happened to me in Hollywood. I Ragu could attest for this. I hate the gimbal because I hate setting up the gimbal. The gimbal, once you give it to me, I could work it. But to set it up, I hate it. So it actually happened to me in Hollywood, and I've been skipping this step. I've been supposed to get on the YouTube and try it out and this and that. So I get in front of the director, Tim Russ. And I'm thinking I'm on Steadicam and I'm just working the Steadicam tripod, and they say, "No, we got you on gimbal today." And I was like, "Gimbal? Wait, wait. You guys don't got me on gimbal. I'm not the gimbal guy." Of course, I didn't say this out loud because I'm standing next to world famous Tim Russ at the moment. So I said to myself in my head, I was like, "Wait, why are they putting you on gimbal? You were supposed to learn this so long ago, and now here's the moment that you have to do it in front of one of the biggest clients that you've ever been in front." So at that same moment, you could either fly, or you could either fly, flight or flight. So at that point in time, I said, you know what? There's only one reason I'm here, is to do this. So I said, man, give me this thing, start jacking it up, and next thing you know, I started working and doing it. At that point in time, like I said, the steps were skipped, and I had to learn on the go right then and there. But I would have been way more equipped saying that I did put that time in. Me and Tim, I wouldn't have no question. I would have had more confidence in myself. But even being on the journey of where you're supposed to be, you'll always be where you're supposed to be. Say yes to those certain things. So at the moment, I'm with a director. I'm on set. I want to be a writer. I want to be a director. So I can't say no. I gotta do it. I gotta. Of course, I know how to do gimbal, Tim Russ. What do you mean? Of course I do. And it just worked. But I would definitely say do not skip steps. I know editing was a little hard for me. But I put the time in. I put the time in. I burned my eyes. I stayed up on YouTube. I learned everything from YouTube University, or I learned from my peers and asking them different questions just to kind of pick their brain on how to do things, and then find my own style into doing it. And it worked out perfect. It worked out perfect for me. So definitely just put the time in. You got to put the time in. You can't skip steps. It's not gonna work. You know, at all, especially with a craft like this, because at this day and age a lot of people are able to um, get on their phone and edit a photo. So say you can't edit, this person is going to get on their phone and be like, well, why couldn't he edit that part right there? Like, what's wrong with him? So don't skip steps. Don't skip steps. Just go ahead and put the time in, and you'll be fine.
What are the challenges of being in the, I won't say entertainment industry, but being in the photography and videography industry? What are the challenges that you face? I know some of them you did mention, like you know, get ready to hear no, but what are the other things that what's gonna
um, the challenges, and I think I want to say the biggest challenge is um, trying to be confident in yourself. I want to preach this because, like I said, I felt unconfident in myself and my abilities, and that was one thing where I felt like, was probably my biggest challenge, is just knowing that you're actually good enough once you've put the time in. I've put in time into this craft, and I'm not any slouch in any regard. So I had to really build myself up. I've always been a confident person, but when you're doing certain things and there's, you know, um, business people in front of you and people that are looking for you to do things correctly and to a T, you have to build a confidence in yourself. So I think that would be like one of the biggest challenges. Another big challenge would be to not get competitive. So I would say making sure that you're not competing with anybody else, because they're not going. Like I said, their blessings and your blessings are two different things. They're not going to get anything that is deserving to you, and you're not going to get anything that's deserving to them. So stop trying to be in competition with people. That goes back to me saying giving more than getting. So that's another part of the challenge, is being able to be unselfish. If you don't shoot weddings, don't go ruin that lover's wedding and go and shoot their wedding because you want to be the best photographer and you want to take off. No, get your buddy, reach out to him. He's been doing weddings for years. Have him do it. You do the video, and then y'all both make money. Don't go out there and ruin that person's wedding just because your ego says, "Oh, I can do it. I feel like I can do it." There's certain things where you have to do a little bit of calculated risk. You, you could risk taking your little sister's birthday photos at the thing for free. Risk that. Don't risk somebody's wedding that they're never going to have this moment over again and trying to do that. So I would definitely say try to not compete with anybody but yourself. Make sure that you boost your confidence every day. That's why you have the board. Right on the board, it'll boost your confidence when you see these things. Tell yourself good things, that you're worthy of everything that you're looking for. So I think confidence would be one of the biggest challenges in photography, because everything is visual. It's all visual, and there's a lot of opinion based when you're doing stuff. So you could have a client and you take these photos and they're saying, well, I kind of really don't like this, but deep down inside they've seen your portfolio. They know your type of work. It has nothing to do with you. It's just their style. So don't let that break your confidence. You know how to shoot. It's been documented. Your portfolio says so. You know, like I worked with when I went there. I worked with um, a Hollywood actor, Brian. What is it? Brian Michael Fox. Brian Michael Fox. And at the time, again, just fighting with being confident. At the time, I was like, oh man, I've never done any, full blown setup shots of any Hollywood actors. And they reached out to me. His stylist is like, man, we love your work. Can you do it? And like I said, you have to build a confidence where you're like, oh yeah, of course, that's no problem. What time do you guys want to meet? You don't ever want to feel like, well, let me get somebody else. Like, confidence is the biggest challenge that you'll have in photography. Once you're able to battle the confidence, everything else will come. Your leads will start coming, the connections will start coming, the way that you shoot will start being good. You won't ever second guess your shot and be like, oh well, did I do it right? You know you did it right, just because the confidence is built up in you and you put your time in, so you nailed the shot. um, yeah, and just don't compete with anybody, man. We don't Competition never gets you anywhere. Collaboration gets you everywhere.
Got it. Awesome. I know like few of our fellow mates that we worked with, David, he's huge into modeling, and he's on Netflix show as well, right? Something like that.
Oh, really?
Did- I
I
don't know.
didn't know that.
I
I
didn't
think
know.
he
I'm
is.
not sure. Don't quote me on that. That's what I heard somewhere. I know he's huge into modeling. He's done some really good photo shoots and events with major companies. And then Ricky, again, amazing photographer. We worked with him, Ricky. Um Tell and I love his song. I know you did you shoot that with Ricky, the song, which he has put it on YouTube?
No, I did the photos for him. I did the
Oh,
photos
the
for
Freddie
one of
Mercury
the.
photo for him.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
he was
yeah.
talking so much. I had a podcast with him. He was talking. He was loving that. He's like, dude, Shabba gave life for that day. He spoke so much about the photo. Yeah, yeah, it's fun. Like you said, it's always fun seeing people with you grow with you. It's like if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So I love going far. Like seeing everyone accomplish what they wanted to do, because from the time we saw David, he always wanted to be like, something into modeling and stuff. And yeah, Tel and I always wanted to be in music, and the way they're thriving is amazing.
hmm Absolutely. Yeah. No, it's very important to surround yourself with people that, like I said, dreaming just as big as you. Like, that's very important. And like Ragu just said, it feels good seeing it, because again, now that gives your motor a little bit more. You're like, man, look, me and my. You look over to your left, you look over your right, and everybody's on pace on their race. You're not competing with them. They're moving just at a great pace. You're moving at a great pace, and it's good to be in a room and a circle of people that are winning. Nobody wants to be in a room of losers, people that are not doing anything and not going anywhere, always complaining, trying to give blame everything on. No, get it done, man. We had a bunch of people. Just to give some background, like, those were the first people me and Ragu did films with, and these people were doing this stuff with no money. We have no budget. We had no budget. We have no money. You know,
No permissions.
I don't even think we had permits or food for these people. I tell them make sure they eat before they show up. You know, and these people were so driven and they were so about it that they showed up. You know, and that just made me and Ragu show up even more. So we would get into detail and make sure that we're not wasting people's time because I was very big on not wasting anybody's time because I understand how valuable it could be. They could be doing a million other things. Like I said, you know, it was grateful that we were able to get them at that time because now it works out because now they're bigger. And when we call on them again, it's just going to be like, hey, man, you know, I know that you're in this lane. We've worked together before. We've seen you. You're better, and now we can really meet up and do something really extravagant.
Bigger. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's whenever I think about my movie days, like that definitely stands out. Like, the thing that we did in Boca del Rey area, like our shoot that we did even for the Halloween, it's everything was a good memory, learning curve.
And we did everything off of just guerrilla, man. We would do things in 1 or 2 days. We would edit everything. We would sound it. We, like I said, just getting the job done, no matter what it takes. Whether that be us holding the audio mic, or helping with this part, or Ragu helping with the lines, or jumping in as a character. It didn't really matter what it took. And that also brings light to what we're doing now, as well as, you know, there's a lot of Hollywood sets, and, you know, sometimes all of these different things can make it feel like it's so complicated. I like to tell people to just kiss, keep it simple, stupid. Remove all these stupid things that you feel that are so much like kind of just confusing what you have as an idea, and execute what you have going on. You know,
Awesome.
it's super simple.
Definitely, I definitely agree. Just go do it and just keep it simple. Like when we shot our Christmas set with I forgot the name of our female lead character. She was amazing, one of the best
One of the
actresses I've
best.
ever worked with.
Maria.
Maria, one of the best actresses I worked with. I think she's also doing good. She did something that, like, something that has to do with Wonder Woman stuff. Like, she's also amazing actress. And I remember uh only we three on the set. I was acting and she's also in the frame. You're trying to hold the lights in one hand, you're trying to hold the thing, like, the audio and the other thing, and you're setting up and you're trying to like shoot in one hand. Like, we did it all. Like, and when I saw the result, it was really good. It was like we had a whole production, but it was just you.
You're right. It was just one person. I swear. I swear. Lighting,
Like,
crispy, audio. What?
yeah.
Yep.
And when you and I were in front, we had the whole skit planned up. But when you and I, like, we had Maria shoot us, so it was probably it would have been a good experience for her to like shoot something, right? Being an actress, yeah, yeah. So it's always a learning process every day in life, and just having fun is the most important part of it.
Absolutely, absolutely, and
Yeah,
I'm glad that I could find, brothers and sisters within my parts of my passion, because then it makes it so much more fulfilling. You know, just like you said, it feels so good seeing our friends do big things. It feels so good. I get so excited when I hear David's in another commercial, or if he,
oh,
like, I just seen his photo at Macy's in underwear, and I'm like, yo, that's David, like my guy, or when Ragu tells me he's just, they pulled him into a producer role. Now they've got him writing the
yeah.
script and finishing the edits and stuff like that. So it
Yeah.
feels so super good. And like I said, it just fuels the fire, man. It fuels the fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. Shaba, it was like really, really wonderful talk to you. I'm sure like our viewers got a lot from it. Like they've learned a lot about photography, paparazzi business, and also like you threw out some gems out there, in terms of like living life and being happy and being content and being like who you are. Do you have any final words to my viewers?
Final words to the viewers, man. I would just like to say, continue watching. Make sure that you, like I said, just bring confidence in yourself. Keep God first, and be on the lookout for me and Ragu and the stuff that we have coming out, man. Because like I said, we're just getting better, whether we're here or there. But also be on the lookout for a lot of films that Ragu is in right now. Be on the lookout for some projects that we have coming up very soon, and just continue to watch. And I pray for nothing but blessings for you guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shabba. Thank you, viewers, for sticking around, and I will see you in another episode. Thank you so much.
Peace.